This is my Sunday weekly watch list down here. And looking at the S&P 500 here, so far, what does it look like, team? It looks like we're having a mini bull flag, right? Bears failed to break down. Bulls stepped in with the gap up that we talked about. And believe it or not, team, we really talked about this ahead of time before this gap up even happened. And some of you may ask me, how did you even predict that? Well, this is because of experience. We have seen it happen over and over with the market, especially during strong times. And it just seemed like one of those days. It seemed like investors had kind of de-risked ahead of time, being nervous, and the dip buyers just showed up, buying the dip and pretty much gapping up towards that resistance, completely diffusing that bearish breakdown that we had. So if we take a look at the S&P 500 futures, which is the E-mini S&P 500 index, this is what's going on so far. We have a potential bull flag formation. We have a bull flag formation backed by a rally there, rally base, and it looks like we are building the setup to retest all-time highs at 5,721. We're currently trading at 5,655, which means we could get a nice $6 move if everything goes well this week and bulls do continue to be aggressive. Now, we do have some major events this week. We have the 10-year auction. We have, I believe, the GDP revision. And we also have the most important event, which is NVIDIA earnings. And we'll talk about why NVIDIA earnings is so important in a second. But so far, team, do you see this potential bull flag here brewing on the S&P 500 futures? Now, as you can see, the S&P 500 futures is green. And the reason why is because this particular securities here, this futures market is tradable pretty much at 3 p.m. on Sunday, Pacific timing. And it is tradable right now. And it depicts the true price of SPY. So the S&P. So far, we're looking like we have this nice rally base where we could get another rally towards 5,719 if everything goes well this week, with bulls testing that all-time high and even going for a new potential all-time high. Now, taking a look at the weekly chart here, team, this is how the weekly chart is looking so far. We have a massive rally that is just going on and on and on, and it could be another green day for the bulls there. It could be another green day for the bulls to try and retest that level of resistance. And even if we don't break out, at least we strengthen that level there and absorb the supply orders where bulls can come back down, create some sort of head and shoulders around here, and then go, inverse head and shoulders, and then go back up and try to break that level of resistance. So worst case scenario on the bull side, this can be the case here where we could come down to, let's say, 5,445. But I see that as an unlikely case. And the reason why I say that is because majority of cases, when we do get this kind of move, they're going to get a test at the level of all-time highs just so that they can absorb at least some of the sell orders there, or get a feel for how much supply there is at that level of resistance there. This is how the daily chart looks. Now, I want to show you the monthly time frame. The monthly time frame, even on the S&P 500 futures, we're getting above the 70% RSI. The reason why this is key is because, as you know, with my mentorship program, we have taught this many times. When the RSI gets above 70%, it triggers what is known as a melt-up operation. So let's take a look at what a melt-up operation looks like. You can see the last time we got that melt-up operation, we pretty much went on from we went on a big breakout. I'm not saying this is going to be the case, but the market is set for that environment, and it is very likely that this can be the case. We're going to take it one day at a time and one step at a time, 1 week at a time. But I'm paying attention to this potential melt-up operation there with the RSI getting above 70%. So the fact that we got all of this liquidity here, basically what this green wick here represents is that sellers, at one point, this candle was fully red. So this candle at some point was like this, okay? I'm going to show you. Activate that. Let's move it over here and then extend it all the way down. So at some point this month, for the month of August, this candle was absolutely fully red like this. So the candle was fully red and buyers stepped in, and now the candle looks like that. So it looks like a big bullish hammer or a doji where bull stepped in from 5,111 all the way to 5,660, which is a massive upside move there. So very interesting. And now that bulls have this sort of liquidity, I strongly believe that they can possibly get another green month for the month of September to try and get something like that. They can try and get something, something, a green candle in that sort of magnitude. And that's because we've got the liquidity. I'm not saying this is going to be the case, but I'm looking out for it. And we'll take a look at the signals here on what are some things that can push the market that way. Um, Now, I know a lot of people say, a lot of traders have been saying, oh, when the Fed cuts rates, the market usually goes for a big correction. This is in the case that the Fed does not do the soft landing. However, so far, the narrative is that the Fed is doing a soft landing and the whole recession fears are exaggerated and whatnot, and bulls can continue to push higher on that narrative. So, the reason why this is key is because in 1995 we had something very similar. Okay, this is where it was around here that the Fed cut rates, and we went on for a massive rally afterwards. So it is important to keep that in mind because right now we're very much looking like we are in the 1995 era. With everything that's happening, everything kind of tells us that. So, what is a soft landing? That's when the economy doesn't go to absolute hell. The Fed basically did a good job. They got the market sort of they got, I guess, they got the numbers, they got the unemployment numbers or employment numbers at a good rate. They cooled off the economy without causing a major crash. And the recent data, the recent jobs data has been showing us that where the jobs market is still strong, but at the same time, we are showing that decline. We are showing that weakness, and this is why the Fed's Powell said during the Jackson Hole that the time has come for us to cut rates. So now that rates are being cut, there's a high probability of the Fed cutting rates into September. Let's take a look at some of the beneficiary stocks or sectors that will outperform. So right off the bat, we can see that this is the S&P 500. The S&P 500 looks good, okay? But if we look at QQQ here, QQQ does not look as strong as the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is very close to its all-time highs here, where QQQ is not. QQQ still has a long way to go, over $20 away from its all-time highs, and it could possibly see some turbulence. So um, I will be staying away from the tech sector, and I will be focusing on IWM. IWM here off of Powell's narrative got some massive upside, closing the day over 3%. And this is what it looks like. So there's a lot of room on IWM, which is the Russell 2000 small cap ETF representing the Russell 2000s. And let's take a look at the daily. This is the daily. Daily's looking like we're heading towards 225. And if we do continue to break out and fire that squeeze, where is our target level up ahead? Let's take a look at the weekly chart here. This is our target for IWM, 234.27. And bulls are looking very strong there. We can see that the 200 simple moving average line on the weekly time frame is seeing that slope back up. It's above the 20 EMA line, and it looks good for that potential expansion towards 534. So keep your eyes out on IWM's small caps. There are over $6 trillion that are sitting on the side, and they can really outperform uh, the Nasdaq as well as the S&P 500. So keep your eyes out on small cap stocks. Pay attention to them, and I'll share some stocks that are within that environment and also within the S&P 500 that can benefit from the lower rate economy. So for those of you that don't know, IWM faced its worst performance over the last 2 years due to the increasing rate. So When that happens, when we have higher rates in place due to increasing inflation, IWM with small caps, value stocks do not perform well. And you can take a look at historical data as well through the 1970s. They got obliterated. And we saw the same things here with a lot of small caps. However, with rates going down, you can see that IWM is really starting to set up for that massive breakout, and we can very, very likely have a nice bull market on IWM's Russell 2000 stocks for the next 2 to 3 years. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be I'll also be sharing a lot of the stocks on the IWM small caps. What I want to do essentially for this particular sector is I want to see what stocks are going to show strength heading into this week. These are the stocks that I will be trading on the momentum side and not just from the reversal that we had on Friday's session. All right. So some of the stocks that I will be trading to the upside, bullish, are WFC. So I also want to mention that this move right here on IWM, a lot of this move was fueled by regional stocks. Okay. So regional stocks um, are pretty much the small banking stocks. Okay. So the small banks that pretty much were a big influence behind this IWM rally that we have here. And I'm expecting WFC, which you guys saw. We traded JPM and it worked out really well. And it is still on my watch list here. And it looks really good, team. We have a 3 white soldiers that can continue to see more upside here. So with the Fed cutting rates, it's going to greatly benefit the banks. And let's take a look at some stocks that are on my watch list. WFC, this one was also mentioned by Mike Mad Hatter, and it looks good, team. We have a potential rally-based rally there. We consolidated, we digested well above the 20 EMA line. And bulls are looking like they're going to step in and try to get above 57 and even head towards 58 and 59 area. My main target for this one is 61. And the way that you can trade WFC is you can avoid the shorter term expiration and buy some long terms that target that level. So one way is you can pick up a January 16, 2026 for the 62.50 call, currently trading at 4.85. You can pick up that contract and pretty much just leave it in your account, and it'll probably do really well in the upcoming months. Another trade that you can take is the June 20, 2025 call, and you can pick up the 62.50 call. That one's trading at 3.0. And by the time we get to that level of resistance, the contract is going to be giving us over 100% profit on that contract. Now, the best part is it'll take a long, long time for us to lose 100%. So it is a high probability trade that I think is greatly going to benefit those investors that don't have time to day trade the markets and can just basically swing trade. Now, for day traders as well, you can take advantage of this move heading into next week. Now, we traded JPM on Friday session. We bought a call on Thursday, expiring on August 30th, which is the end of this month, this upcoming this Friday, pretty much. And we did really well. We got a nice 40% off of this trade, and it looks like bulls are going to continue to step in with the RSI extending above 70% in the upcoming weeks heading into September. So keep an eye out on JPM as well for another green day. And now there are some stocks that I'm watching that are on the energy side. We have FSLR solar, and we can see this stock is looking really, really good. We have a potential rally-based rally, and I'm really looking for some continuation now that bulls have held above the 20 EMA line really well. We got a strong close above the 20 EMA line. I'm expecting some continuation to come in on FSLR towards first target is 240, and second target is going to be this zone here, that job-based jobs, they're testing 255 to 265 area. This stock is known to make these massive runs, massive green candles. And yeah, so this happens whenever we consolidate really well above the 20 EMA line and then get that expansion. I looked at the contracts for this particular stock as well as ENPH, which is another energy stock. And the contracts are definitely very costly for October and November. But the way that you can trade it is you don't have to really hold it until the contracts go in the money. What you can do is you can pick up the contracts, and it's like playing it's like playing the stock, right? You're buying the contract as if you're buying the stock, and as soon as it goes up, let's say $200 to $250, you can pretty much, even $300 on this contract here for the 270 call, you can secure profits, walk away with some nice profits, and be done with it. Now, I would encourage, honestly, I would encourage November, just to give yourself more time, and that'll come in at the cost of a further out strike. But again, like I said, we're playing the contract like we would with a stock. However, we don't keep the contract all the way until it goes in the money. We will pretty much secure our profits before we get to that target, going with the momentum of this trade here. So eyes on FSLR, and then the other stock is ENPH. ENPH is also looking as great here. As we can see here, we're getting a nice, beautiful breakout there, and that could see more upside heading into the rest of the next 2 to 3 weeks here. You can see the 20 EMA is getting above the 200 simple moving average, and that is telling us that the short-term trend is outperforming the longer-term downtrend that we had, and even the longer-term downtrend is seeing that slope higher. So now what needs to happen for the 200 simple moving average to continue to slope higher is this stock needs to basically expand. It needs to expand from the moving averages, and that is going to slope the 200 simple moving average higher, and then they can build another higher low structure and then another higher high. But so far, this is looking like a good stock, good momentum trade to pretty much trade anywhere above 120. So heading into this week, if you see this stock is trading around 121, or even if you see that it's showing strength above 123, you can pick up one of those longer term calls there. So let's take a look at November for that particular stock. Again, it's trading at 123, but you could pick up a 140, 145 call. Well, this one's definitely expensive, so you will have to trade it on the shorter term expiration. But just be careful, okay? Just be careful. If you're going to trade the October 18, you could probably pick up either the 140 call or the 130 call. The 130 is trading at 5.0, but the reward is going to be as promising as you can see here. It's going to be as good as the premiums are themselves. So you can see the stock pretty much went up. That contract went up by 60% when the stock went up by 6.5% on Friday's session. So keep an eye out for this stock. Even if you see it consolidating for a few days, expect this to get much bigger candles in the upcoming weeks. All right, so HD is another stock. Now, this stock is a bullish momentum trade. I always have bullish momentum trades for you guys. I had one called IP last week, and this one did really, really well. We can see once we broke out above the level of resistance, we pretty much had some beautiful upside there. And if you traded this, you made some nice profits. So for this week's momentum trade, I have HD here. HD is looking really good. Our main target is 396, and the way that you can trade this particular stock is you can buy the November 15 415 call at 5.50. So this is looking good. This can be a good swing trade position to benefit on the run up towards that target. Plan is to sell 3 to 5 weeks before reaching the overhead resistance, which is 396. So why do I believe that HD is going to run from here? The reason why I believe HD is going to run from here is obviously we broke the 370 resistance, as we can see, and HD is part of this particular sector, XLY, and XLY is really showing a lot of strength. Even if we see some digestion here, it still is a good thing for the long term, because this is pretty much setting up for an expansion up. So the stocks that are in the sector are Amazon, Tesla, HD. HD is 9%. And I think as Tesla starts to lose some market share within the consumer discretionaries, it's important to keep an eye out for HD to get some of that market share with McDonald's as well within this particular sector. So keep an eye out on HD. I think it's going to be a good one, team. And the way that you can trade it is you can pick up a long-term swing trade for well, it's not really a long term, but it does give us over 3 months here. We can pick up the November 15 415 call at 5.50. Again, the strike is very far, but we're not targeting the strike. We're not targeting the stock going in the money with our strike going ITM. All we are trying to do is take advantage of the green candles here towards this level of resistance at 396 now that we have broken 370 resistance there. All right, team. So what is the biggest event happening this week? Oh yes, sorry, Ben. Yes, that was FSLR. So FSLR here, as we can see. What do you think about this, Chef Mike? What do you guys think about that so far, team? Looks good, right? So far looks good, honestly. Looks like I agree. It looks like we could get 2 to 3 more candles of this sort of size, kind of like this one, but this time 2 to 3 candles to get that expansion. So definitely looks good for a potential rally-based rally here, and I'll be looking forward to it. All right, so now let's go to NVIDIA, team. Now I want to talk about NVIDIA here. NVIDIA, thank you so much, Roger. NVIDIA, this stock looks good. Riz is Riz is the new but team, NVIDIA has earnings this week. Okay, we were reporting earnings on August 28th, and with Nvidia, now if we look at Amazon here, Amazon's not doing well. If we look at Meta here, Meta is not doing well. Um, well, it is doing well. Don't get me wrong, but the reason why they reported lower revenue is because they are investing into Nvidia. A lot of these big tech companies are reporting lower revenue, especially with Microsoft too, and that's because they're buying they're buying AI technology from Nvidia, and that is going to greatly propel the market if we do beat earnings. So, what are some low probability? Sorry, what are some high probability, low risk stocks to look at that are going to benefit from Nvidia run up? If Nvidia does beat earnings, right, and let's say that Nvidia beat earnings and it shows, we get the confirmation that this is where the revenue has been going from these high end technology stocks. These are some stocks that you can trade with Nvidia sympathy move that are high probability and very, very low risk. So we got ASML. ASML is one, TSMC is another one, MU is another one, and then SMCI. Those four stocks are going to do amazing if Nvidia does report earnings. So ASML, they make 10% of the chips, and they make some of the most high end chips within the chip industry. So keep an eye out on ASML. We also have TSMC. TSMC is another one that you can trade, and you can see a lot of these stocks are definitely trading. They're not too expensive. So TSMC, why isn't this? Hmm. I can get that ticker open. So we're going to look at MU. MU is another one here, team. MU it's not doing it's not yes TSM. I'm sorry, TSM. So TSM this is doing good. This is already doing good. But again, the reason why it's doing so well and it hasn't pulled back like many of the other stocks and it rebounded so quick is because the stock is a very, very great stock for the long term, and I think it's going to continue to see growth. So keep an eye out on TSMC, and I strongly believe that if Nvidia earnings goes well, this stock is going to tear right through all-time highs at 193, and they're going to get another expansion. So you can see this was a nice pullback here, and the next all-time highs can be anywhere in the 220s. So keep an eye out on that. AMAT, it's very funny that you mentioned that, Ben, because material stocks have been doing so incredibly well. Matter of fact, if we look at XLB here, the material sector, I shared this one just here when we broke out, and this one's really looking strong. It looks like it wants to go higher. As we can see here, it has a nice rally-based rally setup where it can see an expansion. So very interesting. Um, but yeah, team, these are some of the stocks here that can benefit from NVIDIA. Okay, so keep an eye out on ASML, TSM, MU, and then SMCI. Now, a lot of these stocks, except SMCI is a bit costly, but you can even see SMCI does not look too bad at all. We retested the bottom of that channel. So if bulls do regain this demand zone at 700 from the earnings report, then they can definitely break this level of resistance and get that massive breakout towards the 1,000 and 100s in the near future. So keep your eyes out on this stock, especially considering that we have a stock split happening with the stock splitting 10-1, making it very cheap. So will Nvidia benefit from Nvidia? That's no doubt, Steven. That's no doubt. But yeah, team, these are some of the stocks that I'm watching if Nvidia earnings goes well. Now, what I want to show you is DG. If you have been paying attention, a lot of retail stocks have been beating earnings, and this one has a great setup here. It looks really good, and um, I don't want to create a bad habit here and teach you guys earnings plays because earnings are very 50-50, but do keep an eye out for DG here, Dollar General. This stock is also a consumer discretionary stock. It's reporting earnings. It's a retail stock. It's reporting earnings, and yeah, the earnings is on August 29th, just a day after Nvidia earnings. And if you look at all of the other stocks that have reported earnings, like Ross, if we take a look at Ross, um, sorry, what is the Ross ticker? Rost, right? It's R. There we go. We can see Rost just had a massive update after beating earnings. TGT massive update after beating earnings. It went from 143 all the way to 167. Walmart also beat earnings and it went from 68 all the way to 76. A lot of these stocks are performing really well, beating earnings. So keep an eye out for this stock because it can do the same. Okay. Keep an eye out for Dollar General because we have broken the downtrend and bulls are maintaining above the 20 EMA line and just getting ready for that earnings report. So, how are you going to trade this particular earnings? What you can do is you can pick up the October 18. And again, this is a complete lotto. Okay. Either you lose over 60% of your contract or you make sorry about that, or you make over 500% on it. Okay, so what you can do is you can pick up the 140 call for October 18, and it's currently trading at $2.31, which means $230, but it looks really good. So and with the history of all of the retail that have been beating earnings, I think this one can as well. So Chef Mike said a sympathy stock to FSLR is Run. Now, Run, he said, is a lot cheaper. And oh my goodness, this one looks really good. It definitely looks like it can continue going higher. We just broke this particular resistance level here. And it looks good, team. So you can keep an eye out for Run. It's a lot cheaper. And yeah, the contracts are a lot cheaper. And it will be a good sympathy play. Oh, yeah, the contracts are definitely a lot cheaper. It's a good sympathy play to trade with FSLR and other energy stocks. All right. So yeah, that's about it for me, team. That's all for my analysis. I hope you enjoyed my analysis and I hope I didn't waste your time. And I'm looking forward to the rest of this week, team. I know that I didn't share a lot for now. I didn't share individual particular contracts, and that's because I would like to see how this week is going to turn out, and I'm going to alert as we go through the week. And I just want to let you know, team, I'm going to be like I have been in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to continue to be very active, and I'm going to alert a lot more than I have been in the last couple of months. So do expect a lot of alerts from me. And since I see that there's 74 of us in here, I would like to announce some really good news for those of you that are part of our Discord. Um, I will not be raising the prices for those of you that are already part of our Discord. So for those of you that are already part of the Discord, you know how I said that there was going to be price increases. So if we go back to announcements, um, let's go back to announcements there. Um, so I shared an announcement last week saying that we are raising prices starting September 1st. We will be making price adjustments to our monthly subscription prices, where the price will increase from $14.99 to $29.99. Well, just to let you know, for those of you that are the current members, your current price was $17.99, and I said that I was going to raise it to $20.99. Well, here's the good news. I will not be raising the price, and I'm going to maintain it at $17.99 for those of you that are part of the current those of you that are part of the current Discord. You're going to get grandfathered in within that price, and there will not be another price increase on you. You will never experience another price increase in the future. You're always going to maintain that $17.99 price, regardless of how much we raise prices for our new members. Now, for the new members, unfortunately, we're going to stick to the $29.99, and we believe that this price here greatly reflects um our Discord, our growing Discord here. Our team has grown. We have much more data. We have much more quality. And with me becoming active again, we also have more admins now that we got to take care of. So we believe that this price is very justifiable. I mean, there are Discords out there that are charging $150 a month, and we find that to be very ridiculous when our Discord itself is much more, honestly, much more quality. As I can show you, my favorite channel so far has been the team's trade ideas. You can see this is from Chris here, posted some amazing analysis off of Sophie. He's been providing that analysis over and over before it even broke out. So you can see Sophie went from this price here all the way to the current price where he shared it. So not and this is just one example. And we believe this price here great. Bahar shared Lulu. Bahar, you're scaring me with the Lulu, even though we're in a long-term trade. I'm sorry, I found that. I just had to laugh. Bahar is still looking at Lulu there. But no, honest to God, Lulu's looking really great. Okay, I haven't been saying anything about it, but Lulu does look really great. Okay, I am watching Lulu for that breakout. So you see what I mean, team? There's some really good quality stuff there that the team is sharing. So I strongly suggest you get involved with the team and try to conversate, try to see what they're looking at, because there's some really good stuff. And then Chef Mike shared Snow, saying how Snow was going to see more downside, and believe it or not, it did see more downside. Even towards the sub hundreds. I'm not saying that it's going to go there, but I didn't disagree there. So definitely keep your eyes out on that particular channel. It's become one of my favorites, and that's just one of the many great channels that we have. We also have the earnings season for our gamblers. If you ever want to see what stocks are reporting earnings, you can see this person here. This person shared. This person is part of the mentorship, so I have to give the mentorship roles. I do recognize him or her. Sorry about that. But yeah, you can see this individual shared the stocks that are reporting earnings this week. We have Lulu. Oh, by the way, we have Lulu reporting earnings, and then we have CRM. So for those of you that are in CRM trade on the 2K cash account, we're going to sell our position as soon as the market opens. Okay, sorry, no, not as soon as the market opens, but just before earnings is reported. So earnings is reported on CRM on August 28th. We're going to sell our contract on that day or before that day and close our positions from there. Okay. I see Paris is trying to say something, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Um, team, is anyone talking? Hopefully not. Hopefully I didn't talk over anyone. For some reason, I can't
Hello,
hear
can you hear me?
anything. But yeah, we will close our CRM trade heading into this week. We're going to take advantage of the little upside we get, and we'll get out of our contract for CRM for little loss. Okay, we'll take that. We'll be happy with it. We'll come back in another time if the stock does show strength. All right, team. I spent 2,500 for a yearly on another Discord. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Bahar needs more yoga. But yeah, team, so far, someone was trying to talk. Honest to God, I don't know why I can't hear.
Body, just testing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I was just going to clarify. My name is
I'm
Aggie
not
Mom.
sure why I can't hear anyone.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't think Body can hear anybody.
How about now, team? Say something.
My name is Aggie Mom. Somebody that's hear me, let him know.
Yeah, I think the problem is he can't hear anybody.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, team. I think I know why. I think I know why. I think I know how to fix that. I'm so sorry. Give me one moment, please. All right, there we go. I should be able to hear you all. I'm so sorry.
Testing.
I
Can you
was
hear
just,
us?
Yes, sir. I
yeah,
can hear you guys. I'm so sorry, team.
I was just letting you know it's Aggie Mom.
Aggie Mom. Okay, I see. Thank you so much for clarifying that, by the way. I've been wanting to know for a
Okay.
couple of
Yeah.
months now. So I had it
Okay.
right the whole time. And then I started saying Aggie Mom in case I got it
Right.
wrong.
You
I
got it.
see.
Aggie Mom.
I see why you never corrected me because I was saying it right the whole time.
You were. Okay.
Paris, did you have something to share as well? I'm just like that, Steven. I'm like an old head, honestly. I just really suck at technology. How can we confirm that we are part of the lifetime mentorship? Gubran, you are part of the lifetime, and if you don't have, so the way that you can confirm is you'll have this tag on you. You'll have this tag on you, or this emoji there that'll show that you have the lifetime mentorship tag. I see Easy is in here as well. Thank you for joining, Easy. Team, now I'm going to pass it to Rainbond, and let's see what Rainbond has for us. And please don't go anywhere because after Rainbond, we have Roger also sharing analysis. And I hope you enjoyed my analysis. Like I said, I'm going to be very active, and I'm really looking forward to sending out more alerts and making sure that the team does make profits on. And when I do send out alerts, I'm not just going to decrease the qualities. I'm just going to do more research so that I can share more of these high probability trades that I have been sharing.
What's up, buddy?
How's it going, Easy? Really awesome to see you in here. I saw you were like one of the first members to join the Zoom. So I called you out there a little bit. Are you back into trading?
Yeah, pretty soon here. I'm doing some small stuff, but I'm closing on some property that I sold. So I'm waiting on that to go through, and I'll be getting back in there pretty soon.
Awesome, awesome, really awesome. I'm honest to God looking forward to your presence.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Should be fun.
Okay, welcome back, Easy. And hello, everyone. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. So far, I'm gonna go over my SPY analysis here and a few of my watch lists. Um, And thank you, Body, for amazing analysis as always. And Roger's here too after I go over my analysis. Just want to make sure that you can see my screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Right, so I'm gonna just quickly go over piggyback bodies analysis here in the SPY. So as you can see here, we did mention on our previous analysis that 555 was a previous resistance. Now, as you can see, we pierced through that with a nice demand candle, and we have been consolidating above that resistance level right here. So pretty much this was the previous high, and we made a higher high over that high, and now we are consolidating above this resistance level here at 555. So what we're looking into here, since as you can see, SPY is definitely so far looking bullish here on the daily time frame. So we tested that level two times here on the daily for 555. So we're so far establishing that as support level. So if that is the case, then we may see a follow through move here on SPY once we break that overhead resistance level at 563.16 towards all-time high here at 565.16 and potentially going towards 570s 0.70 area. As you can see, bears did have a sell-off day on Thursday, but however, we did not get a follow-through candle below that, confirming this bearish supply or I would say it's a bearish Marubozu candle. So we did not get a follow through below this candle. So if any bearish case scenario is what I'd like to see is a breakdown below 555, kind of like a break and retest type of situation where we see a break below it and we get a retest and turning that level back into resistance at 555 before we head to retest the 50 and the 20 SMA line on the daily chart, which is right around 546. And the higher low that I am watching overall for the daily chart is going to be around 540, 542, 543 area. If that is the case, then we may see some nice potential higher low forming here on the daily time frame if 555 level break and retest and turn that level back into a resistance again. But I do want to show you the 4-hour chart as well here on SPY. So as you can see, we have that nice potential ascending triangle formation here on the 4-hour time frame. So once again, we have established the higher low of this rising trend line support, and we have already also two touch of establishment of the resistance level right at 563.16. So once that level, we see a nice gap, either we get a gap and go towards 565 or we get a nice pullback towards 560. 560 area is going to be the higher low support of this ascending triangle formation, or 559.70 area is my higher low support of this. If we do get a third touch, confirming this higher low structure on the 4-hour chart. But yeah, so far the TTM squeeze, as you can see on the 4-hour time frame, we did not fire the squeeze to the upside. Instead, we have transitioned into solid green bars. So the fuel is there if they do break that resistance level right here at 563.16 going into Tuesday, Monday session. Yeah, so far the weekly, daily looks honestly bullish here on the SPY. And as you can see, I do also want to mention this. As you can see, we have been getting that supply candle, which is kind of like a bearish trap formation. We have been getting that. As you can see, we get inside day or either a bullish engulfing follow through, and another one right here, bearish engulfing, and we got inside day, and we got a nice follow through move. I'm not saying this is going to be the case, but so far this is definitely looking like a good close for bulls here on the daily time frame, especially that we did not get a follow through of that supply candle that was placed on Thursday. So far, weekly chart looking strong. We have a soft higher low here, right at 555 resistance. And so far, we're looking like a nice potential three white soldier here on the weekly time frame. So let's see how this this week close. This monthly candle is gonna close. I believe end of this week, right? So let's see how this candle close. And as Body mentioned, if we do get that high over the all-time highs, then we are expecting or anticipating a follow-through moves towards levels of 570 and 575 and 580s before heading for a higher low. Or like I said, if any case, if the 555 level gets taken out and we get a confirmation bearish candle of this closing the candle low below it, then that's the case, then we are looking for higher low structure towards 540 to 543 area. But yeah, that's my analysis for SPY, and I'm gonna go over a few charts of my a few of my watch lists here. Let's see. All right, so I do have Wayfair here on the as part of my watch list. So as you can see, we have printed a bullish engulfing here pattern on the daily time frame. It is currently trading within a falling wedge formation, and it is indicating a potential breakout here. So this is going to be a momentum trade reversal with an entry right above 45 to 45.50 and a stop loss below this bullish engulfing here at 42.50, just under the low of the bullish engulfing candlestick. And our profit targets will be right here. We marked it at 49.30, and the next is 57.32 right at the previous breakdown levels or lower high levels. And as you can see, I also want to mention, since Body did mention about IWM small caps, Wayfair is actually part of small cap index, which is IWM, tracks down the Russell 2000. And on the TTM squeeze, as you can see, we are nicely transitioning into light green bars here. So what we're expecting here is a solid green bars follow through to fuel this potential upside move. And as you can see, we are seeing some nice volume stepping in here, and we're right above the 20 SMA line as well in the daily time frame, which definitely looks really good here. So this is going to be one part of my watch list, and I do want to go over a few that we're already in. I have quite a short watch list here, but yeah, so UPS is still part of my watch list. And this one, we have been just consolidating within the range of, all right, let me just, okay, within the range of 124.70 as support and resistance right at 131.07. So once we get that breakout above 131.07, reclaiming above the 50 SMA line on the daily time frame, I think we're gonna get a nice move up to retest this this trend line right here, this downtrend line, in confluence with the 200 SMA line here on the daily chart for UPS. I'm really watching or keeping an eye on this one, especially going into holiday or bear months. So yeah, this is part of my watch list. I really like this one for long-term shares or leaps. UPS, I like this stock for the longer term. And as far as for Goog, we did sell it this Friday. We took profits on this one, but I'm still keeping an eye on this for further upside. Once we break that 170.38 overhead resistance, that will be a confirmation towards this gap fill right here, right at 172.50, and towards 175.70 0.50, retesting the previous supply or lower high levels. So we're gonna continue watching this one. We may re-enter again, either with a different strike or for this week or a different expiration. But yeah, so far we are actually seeing some potential ascending triangle formation here as well on the daily. And the TTM squeeze, as you can see, we are seeing we're getting close to that transition into the solid green bars like this to get some nice upside fuel. So once that 170.40 breaks, I think we're gonna get some nice move up here on Goog, especially that we have already broken this downtrend line here on the daily chart. So we're gonna continue to keep an eye on this one. And we have Mara. Mara, we're currently up on this one. We're up about over 32%, I believe, on our leaves. We picked up I believe a few weeks ago, we picked up a $30 leaf for January 2026. And as I mentioned on our previous analysis on our Sunday live meeting, that this area of support here at 14.13 has been a strong buying opportunity for Mara, and we placed Marubozu candlestick that has been getting a nice retracement. And as you can see, buyers continue to step in, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high from there. And we finally got that break of 17.75 this Friday, reclaiming above the 20 SMA line. Now, what we're looking here for Mara is once we get above 19.50, above all moving average line here on the daily time frame, we're looking to head towards this overhead resistance at 22.97 or 23, and that's when we retest around this lower trend line, or sorry, downtrend line here for the third test on the daily time frame, which is right around 23, to filling this gap right here at 23.89 for Mara. So far, the TTM squeeze looks really good as well, and we have some nice volume coming in on Friday's session. We are also seeing that nice momentum, yellow momentum indicator there as well, especially now that we're above the 20 SMA line. I think this will be really good opportunity to get some upside within the next coming weeks. And yeah, so far this is, I'm liking this setup, and I'm gonna continue. So far, we're gonna continue to hold this and be patient towards this level right here around 22.50, since we have a nice longer term, or picked up a nice longer term contract on this one. And let's see. Okay, so I also did picked up SQ. I'm still liking this setup. We have the test of the 50 SMA line here on the daily chart, and so far we are anticipating a potential zone here on the daily time frame. So as long as we can stay above that level at 63.86, we're potentially seeing a rally-based rally setup here, with confirmation breaking this resistance level right at 67.25. Once 67.25 is broken, we're anticipating a move to retest this supply level right here, which is right around 72 to 73.60 range. For SQ, especially once we break this downtrend line here as well on the daily time frame. So I'm anticipating we may see some range here on SQ within the next coming weeks, or even, let's say, days. But once we get that resistance break and reclaim the 200 SMA line on the daily time frame, I think this is going to get a nice move up towards those level I mentioned, towards 73. Yeah, so far I'm liking this one as well. And as you can see, TTM squeeze is still has fuel to get some nice upside here. Yeah, so that's the fourth one that we have. And yes, so far that's pretty much all the analysis that I have. Actually, I am still holding ROT share seam. We're gonna continue to hold this one for now. I'm still liking this setup, and we may see some nice move. Our confirmation once again is 51.40. Once that level is broken, we're looking towards 60.25 level. So I'm glad I picked up shares for this one. So yeah, continue to hold this for now until we see some nice move up. Yeah, so if for Maddie, if we do see a nice retest off of the level 17.75, that would be a nice retracement of this demand candle here on Friday session. So if we do get a retest there, then that would be a nice dip opportunity if you'd like to enter in some nice longer term or even shares for Mara. Of course. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it to Roger. Thank you so much, team. That is all for me today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. We'll see you next week or tomorrow.
Thank you, Rain.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you. Great. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm gonna go over. Let me share my screen. I'm gonna go over the SP 500 QQ, IWM body and rebound. Went over those, and also over AMD, Tesla, and a couple other ones on my watch list too that I have currently. It's my screen. Okay, so this is the SP 500 daily. It's definitely on the uptrend, and we have established a daily trend with the support of the a short term, which is the 560 on the hourly. Let me check the extended hours. Set up right now. $562. Okay, 562. I'm gonna be following the 2 hour. You see the 5 as support for basically a continuation early. I would like to wait 15 minutes before after open to make sure this is gonna confirm the continuation. But currently, it looks like it's going to continue over the 560. So be watching the 560. The reason for that, by the way, in my opinion, is because we have a crossover here on the 2 hour, the 10 and the 20, which is great. We're gonna use this as support for the volatility. Since the volatility at these levels is gonna be really high, as we have experienced last week, then we know that we're gonna be using below the 10, below the 5, the 10 and 20 on the 2 hour. So we wanna be looking at closing hourly 2 hour timeframes, around 2 hours after market opens. If you see a close that's slightly higher than the opening, then you know that the trend is going to continue higher to the couple of dollars higher. Not it's always going to be pulling back and using the 5 and the 10 as support. But currently, there's definitely a breakout happening with the SP 500, and this is the 20, which has been retested once already, and this has been a really, really good support in the past. So short term, we're looking at a breakout early. And if you don't want to be staring at it all day, and you want to be checking every 2 hours from market open, this is what you want to be looking at if you already have a position on it, or if you're looking to open something. Definitely on the trend. Now, if we do break the 560, then we're going to be testing the 5. If we do break the 560 on the 2 hour time frame, then we are likely going to be testing the 555 on the 2 hour time frame also, but slowly down. It could be fast or slow, but that's going to be a pretty likely test. And below that, then it can continue slightly lower, but that's very unlikely. We're really going to be more bullish because we also have the crossover on the 50 and the 200 on the 2 hour time frame, and I believe it's also on the 4 hour time frame, although it is on the extended hours, but it is a crossover. Here's the 50, here's the 200. This is a bullish play setup. We're going to be using the 50 for the lower support if we're going to be playing the bullish side. What I suggest doing is, if you go, a couple of months further expiration, get some insurance with a few days, maybe a few weeks expiration down to the puts. That way, if you have any really strong or slow pullbacks and you don't know what to do, that can save you. You don't want to invest more than 10% or 15%, maybe. Sometimes 20 if you're a little more experienced on insurance. And what I mean by a little more experience is because you're gonna get stuck too if you have insurance and you don't know how to use it. So you want to keep it low, and you want to expect that you're going to lose that money. If it doubles, like in this circumstances, if it doubles, I think you can safely get out. If you're able to watch your supports, then you can continue to watch your supports. If you trim down on an insurance, is what I'm talking about, because we're going to be playing the uptrend. If you want to play the uptrend slightly slower, then you can see here the 4 hour. We have the 20, which is exactly at the 460 also. So that's why you can, if the 2 hour starts to break down, wait for the other 2 hour, maybe wait 4 hours in total, and then we can see if the 4 hour closes above the 560, and then we still have a chance of it. It has to actually do really very strong breakout. In case that happens, that's slightly less likely. But if that happens, we're going to be watching the 560 because basically in all time frames, even on the 4 hour time frame. All right, I'm going to jump to the Qs on that, and then everything else is exactly as Body and Raybon mentioned. Qs on the 4 hour. This one I have a slightly more chart. You can see here the 20 also will be working as support, and we have the 200. They're about to cross over on the 4 hour time frame. The trend has been not established completely yet, but that crossover can work. 475 is the support for Q. It really has to show strength very early. If not, then it's going to retrace to the 471, 472 area on the 4 hour. If it doesn't hold the 480, so the 480 we need to hold where it closed above the 480 for it to continue slightly higher to the 485 and then retest that high and go further to the after the 595. If it closes, we need to take out this candle basically, this red 4 hour candle in order for it to continue to the 496. So once it takes this candle and then there's a possibility for it to retest it on the 2 hour, then we know that we have now a price action move sooner than later. It's going to happen. It just when it could still pull back earlier, before it actually does that. You can see here the 2 hour. When it's touching this, it's more likely for it to pull back below the 475. Then we'll be looking at the 465, 464 area below the 475 on the 2 hour time frame, because then this will be validated. I'm sorry for my stutter. This will be validated right here. So that's why we need to take these candles out right now. There's a 50% retrace that it went retracing, basically retracing the 50% back of the 3 candles that it broke down from. And then if the 475 doesn't hold, then we're going back to the 463. Then from there, we can possibly bounce because this is where more of the demand is. 471 on the 4 hour. And on the daily, is where the 5 is. So we need the cross. So we need really to show more strength early than not. If you start showing weakness, it's more likely to pull first. 463 is where the 20 and the 5 are. So that's likely to be touched until those crossover again need a strong bounce off of there, a strong buying pressure from there. Let me put the comments in the side because I forgot. There it is. So now I can read. Okay. Yes, Larry, you're right. I wasn't reading the messages. I just pulled them out. AMD. Here's the AMD weekly. We're currently right at the resistance level at 20 on the weekly. It really needs to break over that. So I need to see. We need to take over this candle again for it to be a slightly safer play. I have been mentioning the 550, 450 as a support, resistance, or area of interest. It's been looking better on the lower time frames. 4 hours. So what we're looking for tomorrow, really on the 4 hour, because the reason why I may not hold this longer, to be completely honest with you, and just take a small profit is because there's so much better plays. I saw Body's watch this, and I think I have quite a few of those that look very, very nice that I want to keep an eye on tomorrow. So I don't like to have too many positions, and I want to have the better ones. So even if I believe in this one, if I see a slightly better option, definitely want to go with what looks much more bullish. And there's quite a few that I'm going to look into right now. A few of them are Bodies that he just mentioned, and I just want to basically, not like you need it, but a reassurance of how good they look, based on my my technical analysis that I use. But here you can see the 200 on the 4 hour is holding. So AMD, and it's around the 153. I like the 154.50 area, and I just want that to hold because it's squeezing right here. And if it breaks over, then we're gonna have the 5 and the 10 break over the 20, and that's gonna be good for a squeeze. So that's why I like it. But if that, we have to take over this breakdown 4-hour candle. If we don't, and we don't take over it, although we do have a trend established already, so I'm feeling confident. Let's put it that way. This is rounding up to like a hand, and it's always nice when it does that. And then we have the 50 coming up. So we'll see how it does. But this, I may do one more play if there's some another stock. If this one makes just a little bit, I may just also exit out of it. But I think I have a feeling that it's gonna do really fast move. Like it's just gonna explode and then probably pull back, but it's gonna go really fast to the upside and then come back. But we'll see. That's just a really wild guess that I have. This is one of the ones that I saw. The first one I actually opened from Body's watch list on the Russell when he shared it on Thursday. Okay. And it looked like it has a really strong trend going on. PRK. So that's the PRK. I'm gonna repeat it several times because I realize that sometimes when we analyze it and we don't keep saying the name of it, I personally couldn't see it. I had to zoom in really hard. Breakout candle, 4-hour trend established, really nice support at 171. If it pulls back, if it even gives that opportunity on a squeeze on the 4-hour, but the daily, yeah, that's a breakout candle crossover. So it's really interesting area where it is right now. Definitely on a trend. It has been established on the daily also, so I think it can go to the over the 172 as a support, like we saw in the 4-hour, and break over the 180 and continue higher. 180 between the 180 and 185, they can take some profit there, or even wait for the breakout over to the 188, 185. But it could, it looks pretty good. I like PRK. Look at a longer expiration place too. You don't have to be a few weeks out. You really don't, honestly. And it'll stress you less also. It'll stress you out a lot less. And with longer expiration, even if you're completely wrong because of volatility and this thing just drops dead, which is almost unlikely because we have a crossover here on the 50, 200 golden cross on the weekly. I mean, that's really nice. But even if it does that, to shake off plays from the breakout, from the 3, big soldiers here breakout, and then now it's already back in. I'm just saying that because those are very slightly possibilities, very low. But if they happen, you at least understand what's happening. 20 can always be a strong support. But you won't lose everything, is what I mean. With a 2025 expiration, for instance, you won't. I haven't checked the options on this, sorry. But if you check those out and you put something that you can afford. One suggestion I want to give you: if you're gonna open anything in place, do not use, no matter what. You try your best forever, always, to never ever use more than 50% of what you're holding, no matter what. Everybody will suggest 5-10%, but people just don't have that big of account sometimes. When you have you want to play those nice, $500 plays or 5.03, whatever the price is, or you see those and then you want to play them cheaper because you have enough money. Don't do that because they move differently unless you know what you're doing. Don't buy different strikes and different positions because of the price. That is the worst thing you can do, especially if you don't understand it. So they're positioned in that way they are for a very good reason, And sometimes you got to rearrange that position too. I've done it a couple of times actually. So you got to rearrange that position and get a different one, or kind of, for whatever reason, if you go the wrong way, you still believe that it's consolidating, is a breakout. So just don't use more than 50%. When you average down, most likely you're only going to use 25% of what you already did, because I almost never do. But if it's a 50% drop, and you still have some available, or if there's another opportunity when you get even, you still have some money, and you want to sell something real quickly because you're never going to be all in. So always remember to have some sort of money available when you're entering any play. Don't go all in on anything, never. And make sure that you understand how much money you want to make and just get out of it. And don't worry what happens after that. But this was really nice. This was very nice. This setup on PRK. Keep an eye on this one. And then all the other ones that Amara also. And Riot and Amara, Raymond has a position on this. Very nice one on the breakout. Very, very nice breakup the last 5 days since last week, as she called it. Crossover on the 5 and 50 right on Wednesday. And it just took off after that, after we just retested the 50 one more time on the hourly. Just took out, you know, look at that big candle on the 1 hour. So I think I also, you know, her and me, I mentioned after her, of course, that it was gonna probably touch the 200 in the 4 hour because it was meant to, sort of. It looked like it really did. And I think it still will early because it has to establish a trend in the 4 hour. And if that happens early, and even if it pulls back, that'll be a really good sign for it to continue higher earlier than later. Because it has a crossover here on 50 and 20, which is those are very really good moving averages to keep an eye on, and any strong trend on hourlies. You don't have to be looking at the lower time frames, but if you look at the lower time frames, you can always look at the 5. I'm sorry, at the 15 also. Give you more time. 20, there it is. If it opens above this, most likely keep going. If not, we'll just do a small retracement on the 20, on the 50, and continue again. It looks pretty strong, like it's 70 RSI. Everything's very good here for green. For that reason, we can have a strong volatility pullback though. For that reason, as you all experienced traders know, it all changes in the morning. Like you can't predict, you really can't say, oh, what are you saying, up or down? Which one is it? I don't know which one is it. But we do know that we are on an uptrend on the 4 hour and the 2 hour. So, if I was to be asked that within the time, or maybe, or at least update during the day, I can update after 2 or 4 hours, as I did last time on IAD, or, a few comments here and there to let you know what's happening after 2 hour closing, for instance. Like if the 2 hour closes and then the 1 hour closes just above, then the trend is continuing up, even if it keeps going down on the 15-minute, for instance. Yes, let me check an mRNA. And throw me, got a live one. We got a live one. Throw me the name, number, the stocks right here, guys. Whatever you want me to check real quick, I'll check it. Live one. Here we go, mRNA. First time I see this, I haven't seen this. I'm gonna go over the QQ a little bit after this one real quick, after you name another one, if you name another, because I want to go over what the 3 black cross, how that's looking, because that's really important too. I just want to go over that. But let me check mRNA monthly. Ooh. So it looks really scary, for sure. A big drop. I'm gonna do the supports here in a little bit, but currently I just want to see what the price action is, and it's down. I mean, not too hard to tell, right? From the looks of it, if you're gonna be following anything as far as price as you see it, you want it to stay over the 85. So if you don't have time, you're a part-time trader and you're taking things out on this, all of a sudden you see where it is. If it's staying over the 84.50, for a few hours and it continues, it's a good sign. That means it's hitting bottom and there's seeing some movement there. I don't see it bouncing really fast. I don't see that. I see it just chopping around a $5 to $10 range, in this range, like 80, 90, and just around there for a few days, weeks maybe. Consolidating really, unless there's earnings coming, which I haven't seen any of the stuff, or any other news that can cause a higher volatility. Still on the downtrend now. If you start doing supports, resistance, you can see here that there is still a very strong possibility for a continuation lower below those ranges that I said, 80 and 90. Below that, it can definitely go to 75, 70 if it breaks the 80. just because of the trend that is going pretty fast now. The faster the better, I think, you know, because it's so below the 200 that it needs to create a much longer room for it to bounce really strong hard up once, you know, everything is done and with. The faster the better any drop rate, if you're playing the opposite. But right now it's currently on a downtrend, very strong downtrend. Anything that's up should be considered a pullback or a consolidation, but not a breakout to the upside. Oh yeah, no, that's not for here. That was we're out of that one actually on QQ. It was for a chat, another chat from New Era Investors. It's another group that I'm part of. That's where that QQ alert came from. We closed that already. Yeah, at least the longer one, the November one. It's pretty good. Let's see. Oh yeah, but let me just look at QQ before I look at this one that you telling me. Yeah, TNN, I see it. So the black crawl, I want to go over that because that was a post that I shared, and it's very important to follow up what's going on there, you know, on the tech side. It closed exactly where it needed to close for it to not know what the heck is happening. That's true. 480 on the weekly, because 480 is where the indecision candles, the doji candles on the weeklies are, and that's where it needed to be for not tell us what's going to happen. We're not going to assume that for that black crow, because it has a high probability play, is at the top, you know, and it's everything indicated to that 3 weeks ago, that's where it's going to keep going. But it broke over the 475, which was a strong support resistance, which what I was looking for. The following week, of course, I mentioned, and I think we mentioned everybody, but that it was going to hit the 485, which it did exactly. It was off by a few dollars at the 485, and it broke down from there when it touched that 485.50, I believe. 484.75, and it closed on Thursday on a really engulfing candle, bearish. Then we bounced, but just not strong enough as we would like it. I would like it to bounce, but we still have the 475 basically as the area of the confirmation for this black pro. Now, that's the way they're supposed to play. You know, that's the way it's supposed to play out. This is tech. This is not SP500, and sometimes they move completely the opposite. You know, just like Apple, they move so much alike that we forget that they don't have to. But this play can still be, even if it goes all the way to the 495, until it closes on the weekly over. And the weekly, we're talking weekly here, candle. Until the weekly closes over the 495 at least, or the 500 best, then we're still into this. We still got to watch out for these three bearish candles here. We still got to watch out for that because we haven't got any buy signal or anything like that on the weekly. So, and you know, and we still have the crossovers here. So it's the way you play this is not by being scared, you know, or by saying, oh, we're gonna get put. It's by getting insurance, you know. That's how you play. We're getting insurance because we're playing the short term. Although we're playing the short term uptrend, we are buying longer expiration and buying shorter expiration insurance because that's how you play the volatility at this level. Because we're not gonna go against the trend. You can though also if you're patient. That's a whole different strategy. You could. I'm not saying we're not going to because it's bad. I'm saying because that's not part of what the strategy that we're using, you know, here personally. So that's why. But I want to clarify on this. You know, we're still in there on the Qs. That I never said on the spot SPY, by the way, that was the black pearls because it looked very funky. That looks slightly different than this one, than the Qs. That's why I chose this one. But yeah, this one it's still in play. We just gotta watch out with insurance. September insurance will be nice, cheap insurance, you know, and see what happens there. And continue to make, of course, other plays that being alerted bullish plays with you know December expiration for like $5, $10 moves, which will make pretty good, decent money. All right, so I'm gonna go with the ones that I read here. I'll go to the top. MRVL. Did I go over that one? Like this? mRNA. I had to get one mRNA. Yeah, mRNA. VKTX. VKTX. Right, KTX has a nice trend and is trading over the 20 moving average, or is right there on the weekly. And it has a good trend, so it's bullish. Higher highs, higher lows even on the closing. This is the closing higher low, not this. And then here closing. So we creating a flag probably in the lower time frames. I would say support 10, 5 lined up really nice with the 50. I mean, really nice. See how soon can we guess they can move. Consolidation area here, which is between the 58 and the 60. This is the 200. So I would say that if you look at it in straight, excuse me, over the 60, consolidating there, it needs to close several hourly candles. You know, can be breaking down from there if it's going to continue higher first. Really, we needed to hold, as you can see here, we needed to hold the 64 at open and show more strength. Oh, we have a breakout 4-hour candle here, so this is a flag for sure. Very, very nice flag. This one was different. And we just look at one thing real quick. Sometimes, yeah. So we have a nice flag. So, you know, as soon as we hold that, I think sooner than later we can move higher. So I will be watching the 64 for a breakout, maybe momentum. Look at the 2-hour, you know. Don't worry about the first 15, 20 minutes on this particular one. Doesn't look like, because it could just be volatility. Yeah, you can see that it moves really radically. So in and out. So just wait for the hourly candles to see. See how radically it moves, yet still in the same place as the hourly. So just wait to see how those, if any of the 2-hour nap or hourly 2-hour nap breaks below this, like a red one instead of these green ones like this, red one, like, then you know that it's going to continue down. The next move up is just a retest and then go down first. Or, you know, these are really short-term moves, by the way, not long at all. And then if it takes this out, you know, if it takes this one out, then it'll be taking the 200 out. But currently, the trend looks more up if it holds the closing from yesterday. This has been consolidating here with a nice flag. I like it. Next one, GOD, gold. This one probably has low volume. It looks like, oh, it's gold. I haven't looked at it. Nice trend with all-time highs. It's really hard to go against the trend, you know, especially when it's on a squeeze like with the 70s. What you don't want to do is assume that it's going to keep going forever. You want to play the movement and then get out. But it's very strong too. I wouldn't say very strong. It looks strong, not very. It looks strong. You see how this kind of pattern that is causing, that tells me that it opens and closes very radically, but it's always staying around like a $10, $15 range, but it's kind of erratic. That's what it shows, like opens and closes. Yeah, you see the after hours, it has a lot of big moves at the after hours. But you see how, yeah, buyer stepped in right here. 2-hour, big 2-hour candle. Now it just needs to hold this right here to 235, 232, so it can continue, because it's already on the higher time frame. It's already squeezing. So any trend on the hourlies that is keep holding, or if you see a an engulfing candle, green candle, it's gonna keep going up, because that's where everything on the higher time frames is telling us. Is it overextended? Is it going to pull back? You know, that's another point of view, seeing it like, oh, you know, it's overbought, oversold. It's just going to get pulled back for sure, you know. Never count on predicting what's going to happen. Just react to it. And right now, the reaction is to the up, even if the 200 is really far always, you know, what matters most is the closing of 2-hour candles and the 4-hour candle. That's the most important part. The 15, if you're playing longer, if the 15s and the 20s, those things are not indicative of longer days moves. Next one. MRVL. I was looking at Marvel, but I don't know if I got an alert for that, but I was looking at it for some reason. You know, the watch list, the body. Oh, yeah, sorry. This looks really nice. I don't remember why I was looking at it before. Oh, I think I got an alert when it broke over the 200. Yeah, nice. Normal sell off right here, and then right back up over the previous day. About to do a crossover. 10-5 here, so this is where it indicated that pretty much any sell-off was going to be bought. Consolidation, drop, and now back into this consolidation. I think this time, if this trend line, if you do a trend line here, or if you were to do one right here, it's right at the top, so it needs to break right over. One time it sneaked over. So consolidation around here likely next few days. If it does, or maybe even a breakout and then it come back, retest. But if you want to play the trend, this is also up. Everything needs to be up trend, short term. 20. 200, about to cross the 50 and the 200 again too. Nice golden cross on the 4-hour. This is after hours, with not after hours, or it's not extended. This is extended hours, not extended. They're slightly different, but they still have 205 here. So marble looks good too, as long as it can hold the 68, you know, 68, and we can cross over. Just watch it for the next few hours, maybe a few days, next few days. See if we have a breakout candle, like a strong bullish one with volume back here, something like that. AWK. Okay. So it needs to get over this candle right here. And so 142 is the resistance. Likely to consolidate here, probably most likely on the area of 137 and 145. Although this might be a breakdown confirmation. This might be a breakdown confirmation too. It has not a breakdown long term, because it has the 50 and 200 here, so it definitely gonna test up 137 likely. A breakdown if it breaks down below the 138, 137.50 on the daily, then yeah, we're gonna test at 130, likely 132, likely just in the price action. This is what I'm saying. This is by the way, these are complete guesses. Remember that. Don't take this too hard, or like, you know, predicting something, because nobody can predict anything. Just straight guesses. Look at this. So here's a 20. If it breaks that, it's gonna hit here. And this is gonna be around the 130 by the time that happens, which is this area of demand, and that can create a whole different picture. So yeah. Bottom up there. Looks like it failed the 200, and the 200 doesn't give us any hope here anytime soon, too soon. It could just take a little longer for this thing to move higher, but and yeah, so I think it's gonna take long. The 130 will be an area of interest this once it breaks down below the 132. I'm sorry, below the one. If it stays below the 142, it's going to move to the 132. So that's a $10 move, potentially. You not a guarantee. And maybe 135 where the 20 is, because it already crossed over on the weekly with golden cross, just as a retest here probably, and to shake things off. No, this is not a golden cross. Sorry, this is just a 15-20. It's not. Looks more like a pullback. To the extended hours. Let's make sure something. Yeah, so it needs to get over the 142. See how this has been, the 50 has been just really important. And then it's gonna cross over in a bad way with 200, the opposite of pullback. So first we may see some pullback. All right, let's see the next one, DY. I'm just going a little fast with them, okay? Pretty simple on the wine is to hold at 175. I'm sorry, 176. That's where this support is here. 180 actually, 180 between 177 and 180 needs to stay there. If it breaks down from there on the lower time frames, it's gonna pull back to the 168, 167. So it's in an area where anything can happen between the 184. I think it's gonna go down first, likely down first. Okay, this is bearish, DY. All right, all you're working me, huh? All right, I'm gonna go just a few other ones. I want you to go to well, but I don't think I will. Okay. All right. Hope it's benefiting. I hope it's benefiting. Weekly, there it is. Okay. You see the clear pattern here, clear trend on the weekly. 175 support. It's likely more to continue higher. Even if you watch the 175 for support, if it pulls back, I mean, even at 178, that could be a nice support too. It's got a nice uptrend. So this is likely to continue. Remember, this is just technical. Flagging, nice support on 20 and the 4 hour. If you want to watch the 4 hours, 2 hours, I think the 2 hour is the most interesting one to look at better. You see? Let's see how the first 2 hour closes. If it closes over the 180, 185 still, well, up to 181, excuse me, it's probably gonna break out first. Maybe even hit the 185 and the 2 hour, because that's gonna establish a slightly better trend. Everything's squeezing. If you want to watch the 1 hour, then also still watch the 180 for it to hold, maybe the 178, 179 at all. Yeah, it's just, you know, I know it looks really high. It looks like it's coming back at 1 point. No, it was not. Okay, good. 175. Watch the 175 on this. AMD. I think I went over AMD already. Party D. And unless you didn't hear, let me know if you didn't hear it. TNA. Okay. Weekly looks like it just definitely needs to hit that 53 again. Breakout candle. Lots of interest. 4 hour too, very nice. You just want to look for a 25-50% retracement on the 4 hour if it retraces. And may not. So watch it on the hourly to hold the open. And if you see the 50-minute price action, it could probably just push high on the 50-minute fast and then close, hang around there for a nice closing of the 2 hour, maybe a $1, $2 move. It has it's on a squeeze. Or you can always be patient. You know, patience is always going to be rewarded because if it pulls back, you know they were on an uptrend. So watch the 43. You know, watch the 50% retracement. It's 40, 42, 50, 43, that area. And for it to continue higher if you want to be patient, or you can enter and then add one, but don't never average out more than that. That's it. And only if you know what you're doing really, and if you have a longer expiration rate, and don't even do that. Disregard. 200 is over here, so yeah, it looks nice. Hopefully we get a crossover on the 4-hour here with the 50 200, and that'll establish again a really strong trend. On TNA, that's TNA. ABA. You're welcome, Mrs. N. Miss N. Nice crossover on the 4-hour and ABA here, 4-hour. So all we need on the 4-hour is to stay above the 182.25. 4-hour time frame. Best if it stays over the 185 on the 4-hour, even if it closes there. But we always, the main thing always is to take over the previous breakdown candles, which is the 190. So that on the 4-hour, that's always gonna work out better. So that's what I mean by patience, because it takes a long time. We have over 187 is the 50 resistance. Short term doesn't look too well. Did I just say it was really good? Yeah, actually, it's kind of confusing here. Let me see. Look at this. Sometimes these are doing conflicting, which means that it's gonna be conflicting on different time frames. Like it's not lining up to me. Let's see. Yeah. We want to stay over the 180. We want the 20 and the 50 to cross over on the daily. So 178, 180 is going to be the area of interest for it to get buyers and bounce really fast from there. It already tested the 200 once, and it seems like it did it really fast, really fast. So I think it's time for it to move higher here, as long as we get all the crossovers of the 5, 10, 20, and then 50 lined up nicely. Then a breakout to the upside is likely. First, I think it's going to hang around with a pullback because on the lower time frames, on the lower time frame, what am I getting confused here? Here's a 250, 200 crossover, nice. Wasn't a low time frame? Oh yeah, here, yeah. So that's why the 1 hour and the 4-hour are completely opposite currently. Although the 20 is there. So between the 181, I would say between the 180, 250 actually, and the 187 is where the volatility is going to stay. The breakout from either one up or down is what's going to determine the short-term movement on the 2-hour and the 4-hour for the following days. Like, and it can happen really, fast. But that's where you want to be. You can see it needs to break over the 187.50. And it needs to hold the 182.50 in order for it to continue higher even. So it's still on an uptrend, but right now the volatility is really high because it's contradicting between the 1 hour and the 4 hours. So I think it's going to be choppy in that area. To confirm the continuation up or down. So for another $5 move to the 200 or up to the 195 or so. PLTR. Remember this one had a really nice bounce back. Looks like look at that nice engulfing. Wow, it took over so many candles. Ooh, wow, that's huge on the weekly. So yep, strong trend to the upside, probably about to get a squeeze, if not in the middle of it already. It is. So this is an uptrend. It's gonna keep going. Watch the 30. Watch the 30 for support. Everything's lined up nice. That's the 20. So watch the 30 and the 20 and the 50 for supports. If for any strong pullbacks, it already tested at 200 on the daily, and it really strongly bounced back. On the really short time frame, below the daily, like on an hourly time frame, it could probably test the 30. So watch the 30 and the pullback. See what happens there. Below the 32, below the 32.50, you wanna watch the 30 still below the 32.50. We gotta break that all of this consolidation area first to move up, and it looks like it may just hang around the 30 and the 32.50 also for a few days on the hourly time frames, 2 and 4 hour. Uptrend, TLTR. All right, I'm done already. I'm sweating. I'm actually sweating, and my daughter's coming in. Yeah, talking to me. So, all right, guys. Thank you for all the requests. And thank you for joining the weekly meeting. Most of you are gone already, but yes, mama. All right. Thank you, guys. Good night.